All right, so we are back, and this is going to be the final 2 bags in the kit. So these are going to be bags O and P, which is going to complete the servo linkage here and the wing back here and the wheel nuts and just some miscellaneous stuff. So getting started here, the first step is building this linkage that goes in here. And to make it to where I can kind of see where the middle is, I just put a little Sharpie pen mark on that, so I kind of get this somewhat even. And the instruction manual says to put this on with a 1 millimeter gap. And so I just end up using a 1 millimeter ball stud washer that I have left over from all my 10th scale kits. And you know, some servos might require it to be a little bit more than 1 millimeter. But so for starters, we'll stick that 1 millimeter ball stud washer in there. And you know, one side of it, it's a big long set screw, so one side of it has a head like so, so you can put it in the first one and then you just screw it in. So the other one. So yeah, we'll pop these little balls in here. There is one. All right, sometimes these things want to be difficult. Yeah, you have to be careful not to push these all the way through these. Tekno actually makes a pair of pliers where one side is to put them in and the other side is to take them out. All right, so we got that in. Next step is the servo horn, and you know, I want to power this thing on to make sure this servo is centered before I actually mount this servo horn. And the kit comes with these. There's a 23, 24, and 25 2 spline. They're plastic. These are totally worthless. Do not use them. They literally, you'll destroy them in the first couple minutes if you're lucky. If not, the first couple seconds of your run. They're complete garbage. You want to buy an aluminum servo horn. This is the one from Tekno. Highly recommend it. It's a great horn. And there's 2 holes. The outermost, the inside hole matches the stock plastic settings, and the outside hole will make the car be a little more sensitive, so it steers a bit quicker. I'm going to use the inside hole. I don't need quicker steering. This thing is a little tight on the threads. Normally when you go into aluminum, they go right in. This one, it was a little bit tight on the threads to the point where it felt wrong, but it actually did. I think it's just the anodizing made it a little tight. So I screw that on all the way. Like so. It's the flathead screw, and then you put this linkage on top, and you put a nut there, And they actually want you to put a washer and then the linkage, so we'll do that, and then the nut. All right, so we got that on. And the final step would be to put this thing on, and they tell you to put it on slightly at an angle like this to somewhat match the stock angle of the buggy. Yeah, so I would say that's closest you're gonna get. So for now, we'll just lay that on there. I'm gonna have to center the servo later. All right, so what I found is if I hold this, I got these forceps. If I hold it with this, and you can feed it, I wish I could turn the car, but I'm just not gonna be able to see. But anyway, you can just feed it right into that slot. And you can push it the rest of the way with, yeah, that lines up now. The other thing you can do, if that thing starts spinning, like you can either jam a hex wrench in here to have it stop spinning, or you can put a drop of CA in there to hold that in there. So once you get that nut in, then you're going to put this washer right on top like that. And this screw goes right through there into that nut. Like I said, if you find that nut starts spinning, it's probably not going to when the kit's new, but as this thing gets older, it might just try to start spinning. You don't have to wrench it down either. Yeah, I actually find it interesting that they tell you to put that washer here. I think I'm going to move this washer over to here. The idea, you want this arm to be level. And right now you can see, if I show you, it's not entirely level. So it's lower here than here. So I'm going to play with those washers. I'm going to put 2 of them on this side, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so yeah, I moved the washer here over here, and the link looks much better. Also, I just put a dab of thread lock on this screw just to make sure when you're taking this off, it doesn't back out and hit the servo. So we did that, and you can see it looks pretty good. It's pretty straight. It's not perfect, but it's much better. And so that's how I'm going to run it. The final step here is putting on the wing. And so yeah, let's start that. All right, so we got the wing parts here. They've got this little plastic piece and this little aluminum flathead screw washer, and those go inside of these. You just push them in like so. And there's little nuts that you stick in here, and I just stick them in with the flat side pointed out, and then you push it in with a hex head driver like so. And if for whatever reason you get them in there wrong, there's a back hole where you can push them back out, and you just look through this hole here to make sure they're aligned properly, and so mine are. And then you stick this wing on the mount, and you might have to spread these a little bit to get the holes to align. And you just take these flathead screws in here and tighten these down. Easy peasy. They go right into those nuts. As long as you get those nuts aligned properly, it should be pretty easy. You gotta have this wing on. It's like basically the handle to carry your car around. And then it comes with these wheel nuts, and you notice that one side's knurled, and you want to make sure that knurled side goes towards the wing or towards the rim. And that's just so they don't come loose when you're driving. And if you really want to be extra cautious, then you can use some thread lock on them as well. But I typically don't. The knurled is normally enough. And then they have little washers and these two little screws, and those go up here in the front to hold the little Lexan nose cone on. And I'm going to do that later because I need to paint it. That's one thing I'm probably not going to cover in this video is painting. And then I never showed there's a screw that goes in the top here, and like my screw, it came with a servo, and I'll put a little bit of thread lock on that just to make sure it doesn't come on, and then tighten this screw. But I'll show that more once I do the radio setup for this. So yeah, the final thing in this bag are these body pins, and you can see that there are these angled ones, which, you know, they make it really easy to take them off, and depending on the way the body features are, I will or will not use them. The one bad thing about these body pins is when you crash, sometimes they can knock them off. Probably unlikely here, and I don't know, it might be unlikely since they're all below these towers, so I might actually try to use them. But I'll look more once I get the body on. That concludes all the bags though. The only thing left is to paint the body, and then I'll be making radio setup and geometry setup videos coming. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.